over on this channel, I've gone through the ups and downs of what it's like to live life with autism and my mental health's non-linear journey to recovery. In summary, most of my life I've been a socially inept shut-in who's very afraid of the world, but I've been able to take steps thanks to those around me, including my big sister, Alice. But to get to Alice, I have to face airports. They're the final destination of my struggles, a culmination of every test I've had to power through and endure, the boss level. Because when there's no one I know with me in a giant place full of people, it's the perfect recipe for disaster. And though disasters that I had, I think the worst experience I've had was one that got me in deep trouble with airport security. Not only would I have been expelled from my flight, but taken by TSA officers. Saying goodbye has always been really tough for me. One minute I felt safe and sound with the reassurance that Alice would be there to protect me. The next, I would be completely on my own. As I made my way through security, my panic meter started to rise. Once I got my belongings back from the conveyor belt, in my state of panic, I dropped my backpack and it opened, making a bunch of my stuff and tiny plushies scatter around the floor. I fell to my knees. I crawled into a little bowl. I was having a full panic attack. I was approached by a little boy holding the Pokemon plushies I dropped. He did the sweetest thing and picked them up for me. I whimpered as I thanked him. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope I didn't scare him. I'm sorry if I did. I really lost my cool, and it wasn't long before the TSA officers noticed the crying, curled up girl on the floor. Before I knew it, there were 6 cops surrounding me. One of them tried holding me, but I instinctively flinched. I could tell they were trying to calm me down, but there was so much going on inside my head that I couldn't hear them. Then somebody else appeared, another much more intimidating officer. He told me that he was the sergeant responsible for the airport, that I was not to get into any flight, and that I was to be taken with them. I knew I was in deep trouble now. The sergeant turned around and I heard him speak to the others. I've had this exact scenario play out before and I was scared. So I did the only thing I could do. I grabbed my phone and called Alice while they were looking away. Sobbing, I explained the situation to Alice, but the sergeant looked back and took my phone away from me. I could hear their conversation. The sergeant introduced himself to Alice and asked who they were. Andy told the sergeant I was family, and I could hear them explain why I was acting this way. They explained to the sergeant my special needs and the nature of why I reacted this way. The sergeant just needed confirmation that I was of sound mind, and thanks to Alice explaining how my Sleepyhead works in detail, the sergeant agreed to let me go as long as I was supervised. The officers let go of me, and I tried my very best to calm down. Alice is really good at saving me. Ever since then, it's been one of my top priorities to be prepared for airports, and last time it wasn't that bad. I actually had a handwritten letterman for the airline so that I could be accompanied during all of it, but I ended up not using it as I didn't really know what was going to happen if I did. It made me too anxious to think about, unlike if I didn't use it and just went through the usual steps that were guaranteed to me. So I hugged Alice goodbye, went through security, sat down on my respective gate, and waited to board, carrying both were and the reassurance I needed. Some assistants did come check on me, but it was to ask if I was traveling alone and how old I was, to which I had to awkwardly respond with, I'm 20. But one flight later, I made it back home safe to continue being the usual sheltered apartment dog. I think for my next video, I'd like to talk more about all the fears I've conquered and the struggles I've been able to face. The whole 10 ranks of the Pau social link. Thanks for watching, Sleepyhead. Take care, stay cozy, and good nighty.